A Doll's House, perhaps the most famous play of Ibsen, was written 140 years ago, and it inaugurates a very important feminist movement in English literature, especially in playwriting. A Doll's House focuses on the relationship between Helma and Nora and on their marriage, and how in the end it all comes crumbling down for her. And she leaves. In the time when it was written, this was scandalous. And so Ibsen was forced to rewrite the end. I've been told that there are Ibsen lovers and Ibsen haters. Ibsen lovers are those who love teaching Ibsen because there is a lot of text in Ibsen which can be unpacked. And then there are Ibsen haters who find it a challenge to bring it to stage because there are pages and pages and pages where characters are just sitting and talking. There is little theatricality to the text.
A Doll's House is a delight for translators because it's such a verbose play and it has such interesting turns of conversation and mood and tone and little shifts. So my task was first to try and retain as much of the original text as possible. The second was to see that while it was translated as closely as possible, it doesn't sound dated. And it doesn't come across as an oversimplification of feminism.
So to bring Ibsen back in 2022 to stage was a big challenge. How much of the script to bring? How is the verbosity going to be positioned on stage? I wanted to start not from the text, but I wanted to start from the different layers that emerge from the text. So the first exercise I did with the students is a character image. I asked them to build an image for any one of the characters in the play. And they brought out really interesting images that included smell and taste and textures and cloth.
So these are the third year students and the batch had mostly female actors. So it became very exciting to see these slightly more mature actors and what is it that they saw precious. For instance, the presence of the house helps. It's a rather reduced presence and we wanted to foreground these seemingly peripheral characters of this house. Even though it seems to be a house that is dominated by a man, it's truly this battery of domestic helps who keep the act together.
And Nora at one point says in the play that the house helps know how to run this house better than I do. And I thought that was very important to see the domestic labor of women. And so I begin the play with the house helps. For the first 10 minutes, we don't see the lead characters on stage. We only see people creating this house for us. It's a place of domesticity, but it is also a space in which the lead character finally finds her agency.
So in the very beginning, I'm playing some Anna Magdalena Bach notebook pieces because we are trying to create the space of a home. And this is something that was really usual in these periods of time. And later we decided to go to a style of music that is a little bit more neoclassical. Even my music was connected with the light. The person that was doing the lighting waited until he knew what kind of music I was going to do, and he created the ambient related to this. So I really liked the fact of how everybody was united in this process.
Doll's House, ये बहुत ही क्लासिक नाटक है, लेकिन जब मैं रिहर्सल में आया और अमितेश का एक अप्रोच देखा कि एक टोटली एक डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव में हो रहा है, इस आप सेट में देख लें कोई ऐसा डिफाइंड कोई स्पेस नहीं है इस सेट में, तो ऐसे में फिर लाइट का एक बहुत चैलेंज रोल हो जाता है कि हमें उसको कैसे चीज़ों को डिफाइन करें, स्पेसिफिक सीन में उसको कैसे करें और डेप्थ कैसे क्रिएट करें, नोरा वहाँ उस सीन में क्या फील कर रही है, कई सीन में आपने देखा कि वो ऊपर से खुशी तो महसूस कर रही है लेकिन अंदर से बहुत वो टूटी हुई है, वो अंदर से बहुत स्ट्रगल कर रही है। तो वो जो इंटरनल डिसबैलेंस उसका चल रहा है, उसको मैं लाइट के थ्रू कैसे दिखा सकता हूँ।
Nora at the end says that
ये घर ना एक प्लेरूम से ज्यादा कुछ नहीं है, जिसमें ना मैं तुम्हारी गुड़िया और बच्चे मेरी गुड़िया है।
when I read the script, I thought how wonderful it would be to actually build a set design which very much looks like a playroom. It has the colors of a children's playroom. It has gravity-defying tilts and inclines, and it sort of positions the actors in a space in which they are surrounded by domesticity. Yes, there's a wardrobe, there's a kitchen, there's a bath, but there's something odd about the space. One of the students had created a tilt in a set design a few months ago in a student's exercise. We looked at that. There were many reference images that we looked at. This wonderful image of the Shanghai Dramatic Arts Center production of The Doll's House, which was directed by Wong Huan in 2019. And there were these sort of three things that we did with that design. The first level of transformation happened at the level of color and atmosphere. The second transformation happened at the level of scale. We expanded the scale of the set to, I think, about thrice, which then included researching into different kinds of materials, the stability of the set. And the third level of transformation happened at the level of movement, where I wanted the set to fold upon itself.
We reached this model then, और जब ये लगा के देखा तो उसके बाद we started to play with the degree. What is a comfortable degree for actors to, move around? What are the objects which we'll need to place?
This was a set that was unlike any other that I had seen of A Doll's House. Instead of just moving on the horizontal plane, there was this massive tilt, and there were going to be ascends and descends.
ऐसा कुछ पहले अभिमंच में या स्कूल में pull off नहीं हुआ है. So the major difficulty which we were struggling with was how would it eventually move. This is being manually pulled by people sitting upstairs. So the whole carpentry team is the backbone of this set. और इस डिज़ाइन के कोई मायने नहीं रहते अगर ये एग्जीक्यूट होता नहीं तो, अगर ये टिल्ट एग्जीक्यूट होता नहीं तो.
When Nora leaves in the end, she bangs the door, and the banging of this door reverberates. And through the literary history of A Doll's House, this banging has been spoken about and written about a lot. I thought it was not enough to only have a door bang. So when Nora leaves, she pushes the tilt which is in the background, and the entire tilt starts to fold upon Helma, and many of the things that seem stuck to the tilt begin to fall at the end. And this, for me, contemporized and captured our time. I have a marvelous team of experts. I'm working with a set designer, a dramaturg, a translator, a costume designer, lights designer. We have a set consultant, an architect. I think the students have worked really hard. So all in all, we have about an ensemble of 30 people, including carpenters. This was a 2 months long process, rehearsing about 8 to 10 hours a day. This is the first play that's going up in NSD and also in Delhi after the 2 years of the COVID lockdown. All of us were desperate to come back, to see these familiar theatre lights again, to be on stage again, to have the auditorium fill up again. People have been here in the sweltering Delhi heat in the afternoon, queuing up to buy tickets and watch the play, and that's been very, very heartening to see. It gives us our life back. It gives us what we've been trained for and what we look forward to, and here it is.